Removing shrimp from a tank is usually kind of like an all-day process. You know, you get a few out and you disturb the tank, and then the others kind of hide, and then you wait a little bit, wait for them to come out, and then you get them, and then rinse and repeat, so on and so forth. Especially when we're talking about a tank that is damn near 2 years old. There are so many shrimp in here, and there's more than meets the eye. I've cleared up all the algae, and there's a bunch of shrimp coming out of hiding, and it's actually absurd how many are in here. So, um, yep, let's push forward. There we have it. The shrimp generator has been completely stripped down. Well, we have this all cleaned out, and as you can see, we're playing around with some layouts here. We have some spider wood, I think it's spider wood, and we have some lava rock in here as well, and I think it's actually looking really clean. I really like the way it looks. As you can see, some time has elapsed, and if you hear laughing in the corner, I do apologize. Katie is making fun of me while I'm filming this video. But we have some cardboard here, and we are actually going to take this hardscape out and then fasten it all together on this piece of cardboard, and we're going to use the width of this for reference, so that way we can put it back in here and it'll actually fit. But before I do all that, I'm going to go ahead and take off this price tag that's up here, and then I'm actually going to boil this driftwood. So it's a pretty nice piece in my opinion. It's very intricate, and I think it's going to add a lot of detail to such a small aquarium like what we're doing at 3 gallon shallow. I think just because of the complexity of how this looks, it's going to add a lot of, really exacerbate the sense of scale. So. All right, the driftwood has been prepared. I'm gonna go ahead and get everything out of here, and we're gonna go ahead and glue it together outside of this aquarium because it is kind of hard to access. All right, I don't really have this down to a science or anything, but this is sort of how we had it laid out. And basically, so long as it fits within this piece of cardboard, and I like the way it looks, it should fit in there pretty well. So into all of these cracks and crevices, and then we'll just stick some glue in there. Some people are absolute pros at this. I am not. I make the biggest mess, and then I just cover up all of the white glue spots with anubias and buse later on down the road when we get to scaping. So. How we looking, Katie? Good. How's my glue job? Now's the moment of truth. If I lift it up by the wood and the rocks fall off. There we go. There, see? Now it's one solid piece. I'm not gonna shake it too hard, you know, I'm not like the people in the Dairy Queen where they tip the blizzard over, you know. We have everything glued together nicely, and we also have some substrates prepared as well. This is Caribsea Natural Sunset Gold or whatever. I think it looks really nice. And then here is UNS Contra Sand Vesuvius. Obviously it's not actually sand, but rather a crushed lava rock. And this should be nice for adding some detail to kind of coincide with the bigger piece of the lava rock that we have in there. We'll go ahead and take this out. And as you can see, it's all one solid piece now, which is super nice. And before we put any sand in here, I'm actually going to put some fertilizing root tabs in the bottom. I'm actually going to open these up and cover them with sand. So this is coming along rather nicely in my opinion. I think most of the nutrient capsules are still under the sand, so I think we're good, in case you were wondering about that. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take out this scape that we glued together, and I'm gonna go ahead and add some epiphytes to it, because it would be really hard to glue them on while this is in here. This is a very tall tank, and it's hard to reach my hand in here, especially with the intricacies of how this is formed. Alright, so the first plant that I want to put on here is Anubias coffeefolia, and bear with me, I'm kind of figuring things out still, but yeah, I'm just kind of seeing how this looks. So up next I have some Bucephalandra. I believe this is brownie, and yeah, this is just a smaller leaf. It's smaller than the Anubias coffeefolia that we just put in here, and this will just add for nice contrast and make the scene look overall more dynamic. I'll put another piece of Buse up here. Up next, I believe we have what is Anubias lanceolata. This is super cool in my opinion. It looks like Amazon sword, but it's on a rhizome. Peep the 10-gallon shallow up there. Thank you to everyone that watched that video, by the way. So there's one more thing. I want to add Anubias hostifolia, and that'll look really cool back here as like a final touch to kind of bring in the background. Originally, I was actually going to put a small Echinodoros plant in the substrate behind it, but honestly, I kind of want to keep it all contained to the hardscape itself and then have all the microsort around it. I think that'll look really cool. So the channel has been growing quite a bit lately, and I just want to say thank you to everyone that's been watching. It's been a lot of fun. So nothing crazy here, just gluing it onto the back, and hopefully it looks nice. Alright, here we go. I'm placing it in here for the 6,000th time. Hopefully this is the last time I have to take it out. It gets harder and harder every time because of all the plants. Cool. An epiphytic paradise. So what's going to happen now is I have our contour sand Vesuvius for some nice detail. Obviously we're not going to use all of this. I just went ahead and rinsed all of it just so I can store it and it'll just be ready to go next time, but it'll make for some nice detail. Okay, this is really hard to work with now that everything is like kind of set in stone. It's super difficult to get in here. By the way, all of the plants that you have seen so far, the Bucephalandra brownie, the Anubias hostifolia, and the Anubias lanceolata, are all available on betabotanicals.com. So if you click on the link in the description below and use my code WorldOfWaging15, you will get 15% off your order. So if you like any of these plants that you're seeing right now, be sure to check out Beta Botanicals and get what you need. So this is looking really cool in my opinion, but obviously you know me, we need like a foreground plant to kind of go on the bottom here. And if you already know me, you already know the plant we're using, and that is, I was about to say it and I completely spaced, microsword, also known as Liliopsis brasiliensis. Oh my. It's been a really long day. Dude, I just totally, like, my brain just turned off. I don't even know what happened. Alright, so this is going to be a challenge. I have some, like, extra long tweezers. It's actually not too bad. Normally when I plant, especially small things like this, I kind of go in at an angle. But given that this aquarium is predominantly just a tall aquarium, and there's no width to it, it's really hard to get. This microsword is also extremely tall. I have never gotten it to grow this tall in a low-tech tank, to be honest. So I think we'll definitely see some melt back. Alright, it's been about 3 days since we have done the initial fill up. I did do a water change just to kind of clear up some of the dust from the sand on the initial fill up because I didn't rinse it off thoroughly enough. But as you can see, we're also running a surface skimmer in here from UNS. Just doing a solid job, and yeah, I'm really liking where this is going. It's looking a little sterile now at the moment, and this is probably my least favorite phase of an aquarium. I always love building aquariums, and I love seeing aquariums get settled in, but I hate the sterile phase where there's nothing going on inside of it. It's like, hurry up, you know what I mean? But yeah, there's one more thing that I want to do just to kind of make it look a little more natural, and that's obviously we're going to add some botanicals in here. So in here we have willow oak leaf litter, we have oak twigs, we have some other cones in here as well. Alright, so I'm just going to play around with some ideas here and try not to disturb too much because this is a tall aquarium and it's very hard to reach to the bottom without like bumping into things. Alright, now I'm just going to go ahead and get all these. We have a little strand of swamp grass here. I'll just leave it in there. I'm going to go ahead and get the leaf litter sort of on the bottom so it looks more like it's settled and it's been sitting there. And it's never going to be perfect because I will say botanicals and leaf litter and stuff like that will always kind of settle on their own, especially if they start to break down and shape shift. Well, everyone, I think it's time to bring this video to a close. I'm going to go ahead and let this settle in and establish, and then, like I did before with the rice fish video, I'm going to go ahead and do a follow-up episode where I add shrimp in here. So with that being said, let me know what you want to see me add in here. I was actually thinking maybe some crystal red shrimp or something of that nature. I might be removing the skimmer and replacing it with sort of a smaller flow device. The skimmer does like to suck up shrimp, so yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.